Hello, all you fellow Texas wine lovers. This is your host, Will, and in this episode 9, part 2 of Marker Cellars, it's going to be a short episode, but the content of it, well, we felt it needed to be on its own due to the topic. We love what Mark and his wife, Becky, and Casey does for the vets and the first responders, and the story that he's about to share with us is nothing but short of amazing. But before we get into that part of the episode, we want to have you listen to Richard, and he'll tell you why he loves going to Marker Cellar.
Hey, Will, what are you doing?
I'm grabbing a glass of wine, man.
Brother, you know we have a podcast to do.
I know, I'm trying to keep from spilling this wine. Hey, friends, this is Will.
Hey, everyone, this is Michael.
And welcome to We Know Texas Vino.
Cheers.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here with a patron, a customer here at this amazing winery, Marker Cellars Family Winery. We're here with Richard. Richard, nice to meet you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, so you've been here and you're enjoying this great facility and this great experience. Why are you here? What's the attraction for you?
You know, at the risk of sounding scattered, I love the people.
The people
are cool, not just the ownership.
Yeah.
Which, obviously I'm totally on board. But the people that come here,
okay,
because the uniqueness of their environment and stuff like that, plus the wine, is a combination that attracts just the right folks. And so, these are people that normally wouldn't talk to me in public. And so here they are,
Well, if I could describe Richard, he's about 6'8". And he's he looks like a very nice gentleman. So I'm sure everyone loves you. But well, you talk about the people, but we met Mark and Becky, of course, the ownership, and then Casey as well. So that's not only in addition to that great community of people who are running the show, you're saying that this place also attracts a really friendly group of people.
The patron base, almost without exception, are people you would invite to your house and feel very comfortable. They're not going to steal, stuff while you're going to the bathroom.
That's good. That's good to know. You don't want people stealing stuff for sure.
Or checking out your medicine cabinet.
I'm kind of speechless here. I'm trying to usually I have something colorful to say about that.
Yeah, you are my color guy, Will.
I know, but I can't. I don't have any crayons
Just
right now.
a quick disclosure for my new friends. I have not once in my life checked a medicine cabinet. I'm just letting you guys know. Not once. I just can't do it. I won't do it. I cannot do it. So, Richard, you're safe in my surrounding. I'll take care of you, my friend. So, go ahead.
It's just good people.
Yes, for sure.
The wine, to be very honest.
Please be honest. We don't want you to lie. This is your friends here sitting next to you.
When I first moved to Texas, I was just shocked at how bad the wines were. But they've gotten progressively better. But some wineries caught on apparently quicker and are now doing mature big kid wine. Yep. And I can get it here, and I'm not paying $45 a bottle.
Good for you. Yeah. And that's why I used the word maturity earlier when I had a couple of those wines. They were very mature and very impressive. So what are you like drinking here? What is your go-to? Or do you have a go-to, or you just kind of like go across the board?
You can't go wrong with the Legend.
Thank you.
Ever.
I had it. It's good.
It happens year after year, but I mean, it's consistently some of their best. Lightning Cab. I had that as well. Oh my God.
Calm down there, Skippy.
I mean, I'll tell you this. I'm soon going to be moving to Panama. At least, majorly, not I'll be coming back, but it's going to be my primary residence. And today I was addressing the hassle of how to pack their wines to go with me, because I can buy wine there. Right. I can't get theirs, and I'm actually shipping theirs with me.
That's amazing.
Scented pallets are pretty expensive.
Yeah, pallets of wine. But it's good to know Mark and Casey. I'm sure Casey has some ideas of how to get some wine down to Panama.
Shipping containers.
Yeah, but with huge connexes.
I'm sending a container, and their wine is part of the reason.
Well, but I would say that has got to be the ultimate compliment, right? You've built a great friendship here. You're a great patron, a great friend to this amazing wine community here. But you really like the wines, as we do too. And so, anything else you want to share about this amazing facility and this great winery?
Well, when I was talking about the people that come here, they've got she had to really cajole me to come here without my dog, because I don't go anywhere without my dog.
Oh, okay. We're learning.
He's in there. Okay.
The dog's in there.
Yeah, she made me not bring my dog. But this is one of the rare places where you can go, and it's dog free. It's dog open.
Right.
And they're really good about it. Their dogs are out here. My dog plays, and in fact, a mile from here, he starts jumping up and racing Kane in the car.
The opposite of the vet, right? The opposite of
Yes, it's like, I'm going to see my friends.
we're going to see Casey.
Yes.
And the dogs. Yes. And the dogs and Mark and Becky and the horses. But
And I think
that's
that
awesome.
I think that impacts the folks that come here.
Yeah.
Because you're wound real tight
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want that dog nearby.
Some people.
They don't come here, which is fine by me, you know, and because this is a family place, and they're part of the family. We bring them, and that's the attitude.
Yeah. Okay. One of my questions I had on here, Richard, and we'll finish with this, is that I always ask people, generally I ask people, not always apparently, is what is the vibe of this winery? But I think Richard,
Yes.
the customer,
is the
the
vibe.
friendship, really, he just described the vibe.
Yes.
It really is.
That's awesome.
They're good people, and they attract good people, and
Good.
that's about
Awesome.
it.
So what I'm hearing is you're going to be in Panama drinking their wine. When you come home, you'll be drinking their wine. So
And
pretty
getting
much the
more
rest
back
of
to Panama.
Yeah, back. Yeah, that sounds great. And we're all friends now too, so we'll be taking a trip down to Panama to drink their
I
wine.
actually have what they call a casita,
Oh,
Uh-oh.
nice.
a little house.
Yeah.
Besides my place, and so you can come down there. You got your own.
So
kitchen
now I've got
bathroom.
contacts in Panama. I've
Yeah.
got in Dominican Republic. I've got Costa Rica. So I'm going to be a traveling man.
So
That's all
are we
good.
going to go to Panama and do an episode now?
I think that should be part of our plan.
And if not, just come down because they also get great coffee.
Oh, of course they do. Well, Richard, we're grateful for you, and thanks
Yes,
for taking
thank you
time
for
out of
taking time.
your
Thank you.
afternoon. And again, we love these people here as well. And we like the wines, and it's just fantastic. There's just a reason you're attracted to it. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank
sir.
you.
I appreciate you,
Enjoy
Richard.
meeting y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye. So we got to touch one more thing before we actually
One more. Cool.
get the closing of this. So talk about the whole veteran stuff because you hit on that. I want
I
you
have
to hit on
typed
that.
in my notes here, so thank you, Will. Good job.
So I mentioned that we lived in Argyle, Texas, and to the credit of my sweet wife, she when we moved back from California back to Texas, she got involved with the Metroport Meals on Wheels program, and as a result of that, she started managing all the drivers and the food producers for our little burg to help the customers, the people that were on and signed up for Meals on Wheels. It's your seniors. It's all your seniors, whether you see them at church or whether you run into them at the grocery store or you run into their kids at the grocery store. How do I get my mom on Meals on Wheels? Anyway, so she managed that for the 18 years that we were there. And about 15 years into that time frame, she ran into a gentleman, his name was Blue Gamble, who was on the route. And there's several drivers involved who deliver meals during the week and that sort of thing. But one of the drivers got him talking about what he did in World War II. And come to find out, he'd never told his kids.
Oh, darn.
So he had never talked about the fact that he had been in 7 different campaigns between surviving D-Day,
Right.
surviving Battle of the Bulge, chasing Rommel in a half-track through North Africa, and then ending up on Eisenhower's security detail when the Allies took over Berlin, right? So they ended up, not me, ended up getting his story recorded for the Smithsonian, right? And so my wife and the driver that was his friend go to the place where they do it, and the way that the Smithsonian does it, basically they give you 30 minutes. It's not edited. It's no holds barred. You get to say whatever you want to say or whatever. And so through the course of that 30 minutes, as he's going through his, call it just a giving of information,
Amazing.
he would stop and say, Becky, you have to leave the room, because he was going to get graphic about something, and then he would call her back in, and then they'd start talking about something else, and then, Becky, you have to leave the room. Anyway, so that ended up being something that we marked down. Blue was a hell of a guy. He died in 98, I believe. And so after he died, which I should have done it before he died, but I didn't do it. After he died, I approached the family and said, I want to honor Blue. And I said, so I'd like to take his picture. Can you give me a picture of his military picture, what have you? We already had his story. And so we created a vintage with a Primitivo at the time. And the Legend series basically has the picture of the vet on the front. We don't talk about the wine, and we put the story on the back. And now we just finished our third vintage, because you figure 2 years.
We try to release it on Memorial Day.
Yeah, we try to release it on Memorial Day. The second gentleman that we honored was my uncle, Uncle Jack. He enlisted after Pearl Harbor, the day after Pearl Harbor, became a Army Air Corps pilot at the time, and started flying B-25s. And he and his crew were shot down over Poland, and they were marched to a concentration camp in Germany, where they stayed for 2.5 years until the end of the war. And the only way that he survived with his team was the Red Cross somehow found out that he was a musician, and they smuggled or got him a clarinet. And so they formed a little 3-piece band to entertain the Nazi officers to get extra rations. And they would take those extra rations and get them back into the Stalag.
This is a whole podcast right here. We need to come back.
Good.
We need to come back for this.
And then the third gentleman
Is sitting out on our patio right now.
He's a local guy.
wait a minute.
He's out there.
Wait
The
a
one
minute.
that's on our current vintage.
Well, you better check to see what-
He is sitting out on our patio right now.
Can we have him come on? Do we have him
Well,
on?
once we close this out, let's see if he's
Yeah.
here.
If he will.
If he will.
And I don't want him to talk about what
No,
he
no,
did.
no.
He's a
He won't.
beautiful
He's-
human being.
I want to just have him come on here, and I want to thank him for his
He's very
service.
introverted about all of this stuff. It
Yes.
took me 3 years to get him to tell me his story, and for me to get his picture
Yeah.
put on the front of the label and whatnot.
Stubborn
And then-
fella.
He
but,
is.
But here's the deal. So once we were ready to go, and we told him and his wife, Gary and Brenda, that we wanted to release the wine on Memorial Day, we said, "You come, sit at a table. We'll introduce you to people if that's okay." And about 2 hours into that episode, Casey got him a gold pen, and he's signing bottles for people who bought bottles to take home as
That
a
is
commemorative thing or what have you.
That's
Anyway, that has evolved. I'm going longer.
That's right. It's close to your heart, brother. Don't worry about
Keep
that.
going.
That has evolved into a challenge coin thing that goes on now here at the winery, where first responders, sorry,
That's right. Continue on.
will come in and see those bottles and leave me a coin.
Wow.
We'll show you all those before you leave. It's cool.
And then, so as a result of that, we created our own challenge coin so that we have something to give back to anybody that comes in to leave us a coin or wants to talk about things.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting things that occurred, she's heard this a million times, that is that when I've poured, she's poured for somebody that comes in, maybe they have a veteran's hat on, maybe they don't. And once you tell the story, then that vet starts talking.
Mm-hmm.
And the wife goes, "Who's never told me that story?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I've had a lot of them cry.
Sure.
A lot of tears in the tasting room. It's a pretty miraculous thing.
I mean, it's a small thing.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
very
It's not small.
thing.
It's significant. It's amazing.
You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm sitting over here kind of.
You're fighting it, aren't you,
I'm
Will?
literally fighting.
You're fighting,
it out. I mean,
yeah.
because my family, I've got a lot of military in my family also.
I'm going to send you with a coin so you can
Right on.
share that with your family.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And the next time my mom, my stepdad come to town, we're making a trip over here. for
That'd be
y'all.
great.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
well,
it.
thanks for not only sharing that phenomenal story and what you guys are doing, but also the emotional part of it is real,
Sorry.
right? It's legitimate. We're over here like fighting every ounce of our masculinity to not cry, but it's amazing. But thank you for sharing that. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And Casey, you feel obviously the same way, passionate about that, and
Always.
supportive and advocating for that every day, aren't you?
I'm hoping my grandfather gets on the back one of these days.
Right on. That'd be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
That is
cool.
awesome. I
Well,
mean, I
awesome.
really appreciate what you're doing there because, you know, that is a generation that we're losing slowly but surely, and that's something I've always wanted to do. is get those vet stories, because once they're gone, those stories are gone, and there's no written history of those stories.
Sometimes, yeah.
I mean, you get stories from third and fourth sources. You don't actually get sometimes from the actual source itself.
Well, probably some,
just one anecdote.
Sure.
So because Gary is here, if he's still out on the tasting room floor, he was Vietnam.
Okay.
And his big issue there was that when his plane got shot down over North Vietnam, and they were marched to the Hanoi Hilton, where John McCain was at the same time.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So that makes it really, really real.
Yeah.
Sure does.
I want to give a big thank you to Mark, Becky, and Casey for having Michael and I out and tell this story to us, and for what they do for our vets. These men and women gave their freedom so we could have ours.